Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing the injector install. The downpipe's done. I got my tune, so I want to knock this out and have you guys follow along. First thing we're gonna have to do is get some of this stuff out of the way. After I do this, I'm gonna pop it up on this mount right here and give you guys an overhead shot while I'm messing with everything here. But a lot of this stuff will have to come off. This will have to come off. This hose right here, all this will have to come off, this clip, and then we can access these two bolts down here. I'll get you the size of those, I'm not sure right now. And this will have to come off as well. There's two of these bolts here, and then this entire fuel rail should be able to pop right out after loosening that clamp right there, that I can get to with these. These are an extremely handy tool to have. They allow you to remove all of these types of clips pretty easily. So they're like 13, 14 bucks, whatever brand you get. They should be in that range, and they're extremely handy. So let me get to that, and like I said, I'll pop the camera up here and you guys can hopefully see everything that I'm doing, and I'll get back to you. So I've pretty much gotten everything out of the way. Disconnected this hose here, unplugged this harness, pulled this out, moved this whole piece off to the side, and removed the dipstick. So at this point, these two screws right here holding the rail in are T30s. So I have a 1/4 inch extension on my 3/8 drive and a 1/4 inch T30, and you'll have to go in at a bit of an angle, but you can still get to it, and then the screw should come right out. And I suggest having a magnet or somebody with you to help catch that screw when it comes out. You don't want to drop it. At this point, I am ready to disconnect this hose right here, pull this clamp down, and then use a pair of these or something similar to get in here, grab this hose, and then I can pull the rail off the hose. I would have some paper towels or shop towels or something ready, because there will be some fuel coming out of this, and you don't want to get too much fuel down in the engine bay. So I'm gonna work on getting this out. If I need another hand, my girlfriend's out there cleaning out her car right now, and I'll probably ask her to give me a hand if I have too much trouble with it, because Matt's a loser, he's not around tonight. So just a note before this thing can come out, the injector all the way to the passenger side, you need to unplug the clip for it to get around this thing. It has a name, I just don't know it. I should know it, but I don't. And then once that's popped out, I can work on getting this hose out of here. I'm probably going to try to use a really small pick to break the tension on this hose, or break the kind of seal it'll have on it. And then I'm going to hold this clip open and try to get it off here. There it is, guys. There's a fuel rail. Alright guys, here are the old injectors. If you look at the ends, you can see, hopefully right there, the size of the holes. And on the new ones, they're bigger. Bottom line, they're bigger. There's the 5 new ones. So the way you get the old ones out, you'll unplug the clip like we did when this one was in the car. And then these clips sit right in here, like that. And you'll push that way with 2 fingers and pop them right off. So I'm gonna set the camera up here, and then you guys will be able to see me do the rest of them. Still a good amount of fuel on the fuel rail, guys. Be prepared with paper towels. Alright, so I got all these harnesses unplugged here, and I'm going to pull these injectors out. They are in there pretty snug, so just be careful when pulling them out. And the O-ring most likely will stay in there. You can get it out with a pick or a small screwdriver or something. So I'm going to pop all these out. going to prepare the new injectors to go into the fuel rail. Pop this plastic cap off, and these O-rings here and these ones as well, I would touch up with a little bit of silicone spray or a similar lubricant. Even engine oil, I think, works. Make sure these are lubed, because when you're putting them back in the rail, you don't want them to rip, tear, roll, bind, or anything, because you need a really good seal in the fuel rail, or you're definitely going to run into some problems. So I also noticed that these have different colored dots on them, and I've posted in a chat to see if that has any significance on placement or anything like that. So I'm going to look and see if anyone responded yet. I don't think it does. All the bags, which I've conveniently thrown out already, have the same part number on them. So I'm pretty sure they're all the exact same thing. There's no difference visually or anything like that, but I just want to double check and make sure that there's no significance to the color of the dots on the side, which these did not have. So when you put these back in, there's a flat spot on the back of the rail that'll line up with the flat spot on the clip, and it's going to go on just like that for all of them. And then for the Uni injectors, they have harness extenders, and you're not going to want to plug these into here. You're going to want to put the harness extender between the harness and the new injector. So just keep that in mind, or you'll just be going back one step. So guys, double check when you're putting these clips back on. You can see this one, it made a nice little snap. Made me think it was in there, but when I look at it, it's a little bit skewed You want them to look like that one right there, which is perfectly flush along the back. So just make sure that these clips are on properly, because they're really, besides that O-ring, they're the only thing holding the injector into the rail. And again, you do not want this to leak, because you'll be going right back in here and fixing it. You'll have fuel everywhere, it'll be a mess. So just double check that everything's seated properly. And yeah, just double check your work. Really important step here, guys. Every single spot for the injectors is notched. So all the injectors have to be lined up in order to fit in the rail. If you try to put them in the rail and they're not lined up, they will not tighten down. You may even break the injector. It's not good. So it might take a couple tries to get this correct, but take your time and make sure they line up with every notch in the manifold. Right there. Try to get these as close as possible. I probably will have to make an adjustment. Alright guys, so I got the injectors all seated. All of those notches are lined up. It's clicked in. Now I just got to focus on getting this this hose back up onto this nozzle, squeezing that clamp, and then I'll be ready to tighten the rail down. Actually, what I'll probably do first is get these screws in place, hold the rail, and then it'll be probably easier for me to put pressure up on this rail, and I can use two hands to do that instead of having to hold it. So let me put those screws in. If you're a heart surgeon, this would be like cake. It's easy. A little mouth breather with pliers. so I gotta be careful. So I tighten these two screws down. This hose is back on. I'm gonna start plugging these new harnesses into the injectors now that they're seated. So this end with the two prongs will go into your factory harness, and this side with the clip will go onto the actual injector. So they both have two prongs. The rounded, the oval shaped gray part will go to your factory harness, sorry, and the black part with the clip will go on your injector. So everything's tied up pretty much. Got this plug back on. I'm gonna put these hoses back on with the hose clamps. And this one. Got this back on, hooked back up to the intake tube. All the harnesses are plugged in. This vacuum line's back in. And everything looks good to go. So downpipe's in, injectors are in. Now all I have to do is upload the tune. And I'm stage 285. Pretty sweet. Pretty good. One thing to note, guys, if you're worried about the aroma of gasoline absolutely destroying your face and giving you a pounding headache, make sure you're working in a well-ventilated area. I had the garage door open pretty much the whole time, but it reeks in here. So just a heads up, keep that in mind, because when you take the fuel rail out, it will spill a little bit in here, but then when I took it out over here, you obviously saw all the fuel pour out. Make sure you have a lot of paper towels and some extra ones. And again, work in a well-ventilated area. I'll set this up in the car right now, and I'm gonna actually flash the stage 2 file. I am using my MacBook and Boot Camp and running Windows on part of my hard drive, and it works perfectly fine. So if you're looking to get tuned for the first time through Unitronic, and you're gonna use the Uniconnect cable, and you don't have a PC, you'll be fine. Just buy the cheapest version of Windows and run Boot Camp on your Mac, and it'll work just fine. I got the Uniconnect cable hooked up to the car. I've got Windows up on my Mac. Open the Uniconnect, and the stage 2 file I went to EP Auto House and purchased the other day. I got word from Corey, who's the owner, and Brian, who works for Unitronic, confirming that I should have all my files loaded up. I'll probably hope if I had the key. Oopsie. So I'm flashing the ECU right now to the stage 2 file. It's a 2019, so the rule with that is the hood has to be up. Don't ask me why, just the way it is. I've turned off the accessories and everything I can, and I also put a battery tender on. It's not absolutely necessary, but it's highly recommended. You don't want the battery losing any juice and dying and causing the ECU to get bricked. I don't feel like dealing with that right now. Nobody should. So just make sure that if you have one available or you can get one, put a battery tender on. Keep the battery nice and strong while the ECU is being reflashed. Follow the steps through Uniconnect, and yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Just checking the video out, and I'm gonna get you guys some footage either on the way to Cars and Coffee, or if I gotta go out and get something or take a drive, I'll get you guys some footage of the Stage 2 program. And it's done, so I'm gonna follow the rest of the instructions, and I'll catch you guys again. Please like and subscribe, and as always, I'll get you guys some more content. See ya.